Hello, it's Ricardo and welcome back to Elite Dangerous. Frontier Unlocked has just aired, and with it more information about the new feature that's been announced last month about system colonization. This is going to be where explorers, miners and power players will come together as commanders and shape humanity's destiny in the Elite Dangerous galaxy. Now, whether you're a seasoned commander or a new pilot looking to make your mark, navigating the galaxy and then expanding the bubble through system colonization could be conducive to you. Is it? Well, we're going to find out and tear down all the latest information and see if this is going to be the game changer Frontier really thinks it's going to be. Well, during Frontier Unlocked, there was a 17 to 18 minute section with Piers Jackson, game director of Elite Dangerous, who sat there in length and discussed the ideas behind power play, the ideas behind system colonization, and gave some insight into what they were trying, aiming, developing within the game. All around the idea of the expansion of the bubble. The bubble is now dynamic and they want it to grow, and that was the main idea and underlying element of what they were saying. Now, Piers Jackson went into great detail on the process of system colonization as well, which he stated all starts with claims contact, a new system colonization contact, and you'll find these in inhabited systems, at least he said for now. And that's one of the underlying things. They did mention they're going to have to tweak this as they go, just like what we've seen in regards to power play. They don't know what the player community is going to do, they just know that it's going to be something crazy, and the game is going to have to move dynamically with that. So once you've gone and you've contacted a system colonization contact in that system, you're going to be able to purchase a claim. Now, this is going to be purchased with credits and will be within an area of the claim on a system which will be unoccupied, unclaimed within that particular area. That will then furnish you and give you access to a system colonization nav beacon. Now, they stress that you can only have access to one navigational system colonization beacon, at a time. And that's to prevent people going out there and bagging all the best settlements. They're slowing it down, they really are. Now, you're going to have 24 hours to get to that system and then deploy that system colonization nav beacon. Now, Frontier and Piers also stated that the starport, etc., and all of that will be in predetermined locations and spots. So once you've got into your system and you've deployed your nav beacon, it's going to be time to turn around and say, right, I need a system colonization ship, and one will appear. There are going to be lots of large landing pads to accommodate commanders to deliver materials which are going to be needed in order to set up the system. So yes, there's going to be a monetary aspect to staking the claim. Then you're going to have to go out, drop the beacon. Then you're going to have your spaceport turn up. And then the system colonization ship turns up, and then I suppose depending on what economy you're going to have will dictate what materials you're going to have to deliver to the system colonization ship, which will enable you to then start to colonize your system. Now, they didn't say how many materials are going to be required or what materials are going to be required, but they did allude to the fact that, hey, you've got large pads and it's going to be, I wouldn't say difficult for an individual to do it, but for an individual to do it, it's obviously going to take longer unless you've got a group of people. Now, once you've completed the requirement lists of what's been laid out by your system colonization ship in order to build your spaceport, the spaceport will then deploy. And it'll deploy in different phases as more and more materials are then delivered depending on the economy of what you've got. And they did state that it'll look very much like an unused terminal, say of an airport. As we can see on the screen, the structure is there, but things are closed down. There's no one milling about. The shops are closed. No visagenomics. No one's at the bar. All that sort of thing. So it's very much sort of like in deployment. Now, they do also mention that there's going to be a time limit placed upon the deployment of system colonization and the initial starport. You've got to do it within a set period of time. And there's also going to be upkeep costs, probably akin to what we've seen in regards to fleet carriers. This is no doubt going to be a credit sink for all those hard-earned credits you've earned during the Thargoid War. Then once that's done, the system nav beacon will then deploy. No longer will it be a system colonization beacon, but it'll change. It'll transform itself to a nav beacon, a standard nav beacon. Also, at that point, the system colonization contact will then appear at the starport. So if you want to move on to another system and start daisy chaining it out into the black, or just expanding your current power's field of power, then you can. Or you can stick with the existing system and then start to deploy it. That's going to be up to the commander, and exactly what they were aiming to do when they thought of system colonization and this dynamic changing of the bubble. They just don't know what players are going to do with it. Now, once the primary starport's going to be in place, and depending on the system that you've chosen to go out and colonize, it'll have different options on how you can expand it, how you can put different settlements and other ports into the system. Each system is going to be different, although some will obviously be very similar in regards. So choosing your system to colonize is going to be quite the choice you're going to have to make. Now, once you've deployed the primary starport within the system, you then have the title, a lofty title, of System Architect. This will allow you and your perfectly scoped out system to depend what you're going to put in it. Now, some systems are going to be more conducive to population and other financial benefits than others. There are going to be more available slots on what you can do. Now, all this will be done via the system map, where you'll be able to see where you can turn around and put additional space facilities, as well as looking at the planetary maps within the system map as to where you want to put down your ground bases. Now, they do say they do give you some options, so you're not just left high and dry. This is going to be daunting, and like I said, Frontier are going to turn around and start tweaking things once people get going. Now, whether you are deploying in space or in ground, these additional facilities, they are going to require additional materials to be delivered to that particular area. It's not going to be automatic. It's going to need your participation to stock it up, give it what it needs before it starts to come online. They also kind of close off and say, yes, depending on what you deploy, you are going to have a fully functioning system economy, as you would expect. This really is going to be something. I'm really looking forward to it. I can't wait for the beginning of next year, which is when they stated it was going to be deployed. They did originally say it was going to be this year, but no, it's going to be next year. Early 2025. Now, whether that's going to be January, February, March, or April, we're going to have to wait and see. And there's going to be another Frontier Unlocked before Christmas, but it'll be pre-recorded because of the holiday season. And apparently we'll be getting some more information there. What do you think about system colonization? It's going to be in depth, and it's certainly going to take Elite Dangerous in a direction that it's never been in before. See you soon.